We are in Cairo at a museum. We are playing Constable Zellner in his lovely yellow shirt here. And we can go into the main hall or to the rear area. I don't know really which. Let's go to the main hall, maybe. Just cuz. Can. Oh, hello, main hall. Okay, so we can't go there. Oh. Okay, we can examine the showcase over here.
Ah, I've heard of this. Desert glass. In the great sand sea of the Libyan desert, there's a region where natural glass is found. Nobody knows how it formed. The valuable material was often used for jewelry in ancient Egypt.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is so cool. Okay, there's not much else to look at, apparently. Ooh, here we go. Examine the statue. Oh, I see Lady Westmacott over there. I didn't see her first.
This is Akhenaten, the only pharaoh whose portrait I always recognize. He has a very unusual head. Akhenaten was the husband of Nefertiti and the father of Tutankhamen, a famous family. But he went down in history as the pharaoh who wanted to eliminate the old gods and replace them with a single god. The priests took offense, and he died of unknown causes.
Pretty much.
A figure of Imhotep, who comes in peace from around 2700 BC. The first polymath known by name, godfather of medicine, architect of the first pyramids, and according to legend, the inventor of Egyptian writing. He certainly achieved more than me in his life. He was a legend. The Greeks called him a god. The Romans still honored him 3,000 years after his death. Even today, scholars offer a drop of ink to Imhotep when they begin a new project. Really impressive.
That is pretty cool.
Several daggers in a row. Their shapes and patterns look timeless, elegant. What does it say here? The dagger on the left is a replica of the dagger from the tomb of Tutankhamen. It must have been incredibly precious during his lifetime because it's made of iron. Thousands of years before the Ice Age, meteorites were the only source of pure iron. So a star that fell from the sky, bringing a substance that's harder than anything they'd known before, would have been a dramatic event. No wonder they used it to forge a weapon for the godlike pharaoh.
Yeah.
Aha! This shows how the ancient Egyptians were able to move the heavy blocks of stone to build their pyramids and temples. They used ropes, wooden sleds, and poles as levers.
A comment on that is that everyone is not everyone does not agree on that was how they made it. Probably the theory most people accept, or scientists, or research, whatever, but I'm still gonna point out that not everyone is certain about how it was done. Like 100%, I'm just saying.
These exhibits aren't originals, of course. They're reconstructed, based on old pictures. Nonetheless, it's impressive how they managed to build monuments like the pyramids with such simple tools.
Or maybe people don't agree on exactly how they managed, even though they had sleds and stuff like that. One very recent theory is that they might have poured water into the sand in front of the sleds, because the sand that they have exactly there in Egypt, or in the pyramids, when that is like 10 or 40% water, it reduces friction. At exactly that water amount, more or less, makes more friction. So they could have done that, because there is some picture somewhere where someone is pouring water, looks like on or in front of sled, and people don't really know why. This could be a theory, that could be a theory. So yeah, people aren't 100% sure exactly of how they managed it still.
Impressive, isn't it? Thousands of years old and still beautiful.
That it is. They dug it out of the sand near Thebes over 50 years ago. I was there.
Really?
I met my husband there. He was an assistant on the dig and was ordered by the director of the excavation to take care of that writer. I financed many excavations in the following years, here in Egypt and in the Near East. I visited my husband, together with our son. It was the best time of my life. But a museum is no place for nostalgia. What can I do for you?
You've had a long and successful life, Lady Westmacott.
What's that supposed to mean, Mr. Zellner? That I should be ready to leave the stage? Because I'm not.
Oh, I didn't want...
I'm here because life is here, Constable. Or was. I have never lived as much as I have here. No fame, no money can buy that.
I understand.
I'm sorry, Constable Zellner. Such an outburst isn't fitting for a woman of my age, and an English woman at that. Let's talk about something else.
Your son. You haven't said much about him. Or perhaps you did, just not by name.
You're an attentive listener, Mr. Zellner.
I was wondering why you knew so much about Miss Miller's unhappy marriage.
I stopped paying his bar tabs, stopped paying reporters to hush things up. He got to know her and went with her to America to start a new life. You can change your name easily,
That's what I thought.
but not who you really are.
That's what I thought.
He has my eyes, doesn't he?
The Part 2 novel is for him, isn't it?
If I couldn't provide Matthew with a good father, then at least I can provide him with a good start in life.
Aww.
When I was working on the ship, I felt like one of the detectives in your novels.
Yep.
You were lucky. It was an unusual murder. Most murders happen in the heat of the moment or are committed by idiots. They're uninspired. But Gebhardt thought it through. He could have succeeded.
I don't know. He made too many mistakes.
He couldn't have known that the Baroness, almost unconscious from the drugs, would lock her cabin door.
But that was a risk. The plan was too complicated and sloppily executed.
You certainly are a harsh critic, Mr. Zellner.
He could have shot her on the side deck and thrown the weapon into the sea. With no witnesses, no one would have suspected him.
How boring.
Or if it had to be a complicated plan, then he should have worked more carefully. Should have thought of everything, had a plan B in place.
Maybe he didn't have enough time. He had only a few hours to plan and commit the murder.
Still, he should have covered his tracks more carefully. The audio tape, the bloody glove, none of that should have stayed in the medical center. Do you think that Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven?
Was? Do you think he's dead?
The letter sounded like he committed suicide.
There's your answer. Does that sound like the Raven? Being unmasked? Taking the easy way out?
No.
My sentiments exactly. The Raven wouldn't commit murder, get caught, and then jump into the sea.
You don't want everything to be over, do you?
It's my chance to do something great. It can't be over yet.
At least you solved the murder of the Baroness. You're a hero.
That's not how the newspapers see it. Nor I. Something's missing. I can achieve more.
Careful, Constable. He who flies too close to the sun
Is that the myth of Icarus?
To be honest, no. The story is Greek, and was only written down 1,000 years later. I was counting on the dramatic effect.
Oh, worked well enough. Let's assume that the thief is still out there. Who is he?
If all this were a novel, then it would be the one you least expect.
Is that intended to be a confession, Lady Westmacott?
What do we know about the new Raven?
He's a man who would stop at nothing.
Must it be a man? And how do we know that it's just one person? There could be several people collectively pretending to be the Raven.
So, we don't know anything.
That's not completely true. We know that he or she wants the Eye of the Sphinx, and will probably strike here, assuming he or she hasn't already gone.
It may be the end of the story for me, Lady Westmacott. Inspector Legrand will arrive soon and send me to the hotel. I'll return tonight for the gala, hoping all the while that the Raven does dare to attempt a burglary. Tomorrow morning, I'll have to return to Switzerland. What an unsatisfactory ending that would be.
It wouldn't be a triumphant ending, but it could be worse. At least you'd still be alive, Constable.
Will you attend the gala tonight, Lady Westmacott?
But of course. The antiquities, the delightful atmosphere, and who knows, perhaps there will be another spectacular burglary.
And your cruise?
The ship doesn't leave until tomorrow, and believe me, I'd cancel the cruise for this.
As always, it was an entertaining and enlightening chat, Lady Westmacott.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
going to miss our little chats, Constable Zellner. Goodbye.
Indeed. Oh, yeah, I was just like, Matt came here. Where's he? There he is.
Ahoy, Matt.
The statue was talking.
The statue was talking?
Yes.
And what did it say?
It said it was...
That's a very bad word.
I know.
And an English one. Don't you think it's odd that an old Egyptian statue speaks English?
Don't you think it's odd that a statue speaks at all?
That would have been my next question. And, is the statue talking to you right now?
Do you think I'm nuts?
No, of course not. I just thought you might have much better ears than me. Ears that can hear statues.
Some cop you are, Mr. Zellner. This is a mystery, and you're just making jokes.
You're right. It's just...
Don't you believe me?
We both agree that a stone statue without a mouth or vocal cords cannot speak, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay. That means you heard something else. And we have to find out what or who it was.
Roger.
I'm almost a bit envious of you. Going up the Nile on a ship, it must be great.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't sound so keen.
I think my mom wants the professor to come too.
And you don't? You can't tell me.
What if Mom marries the professor and doesn't work with the lady anymore? We'd have to move to London, and I'd have to go to a new school.
You like your life as it is, and you don't want to change a thing, right? But have you ever thought about whether your mother is happy? The world doesn't revolve around you, you know. If you're unhappy, you have to do something. Sometimes you have to take a chance. And in that case, you need all the help you can get.
Do you mean Mom isn't happy?
I don't know. What do you think? This we have to see. The eye is coming.
Was that triggered or was it time? I don't know.
This will all be over soon. Then I'll finally have time for you.
We wanted to head back to the hotel.
Certainly. And tonight at the gala, I'll show you around the museum, okay? And have you made up your mind about the cruise?
Well...
Oh,
well,
okay, triggered.
I don't really know.
Guess.
Oh, come on, Mom. Who could teach us more about Egypt than the professor?
Then it's settled.
Aww. You did a very nice thing, Matt.
I didn't expect you to say that.
Well, Mom, sometimes you have to take a chance.
Well, who wants ice cream?
Me! Actually, Mr. Zellner still owes me some.
Oh, do I? Okay. So let's just check what's in the main hall. Oh, I can't double click. Oh, what else? Just want to see if there's anything I can click here. We can go examine the statue. Let's go do that. Because it was talking. That's not strange at all. No, no, no. Lots of talking statues here, saying bad English words.
The statue is too heavy to move, and I don't see any gaps or cracks in the wall. I don't think I'll find anything here.
You have to find the back of it, maybe. Okay. Oh, come on. Please let me double-click you out of here. No? No. Okay, fine. You shall walk all the way, and you shall be slow. Okay, maybe not. There we go. Well, looking at my Pokemon cards. I have a Combi. Alright. Go to rear area. Oh, that was fast. Hello. Okay, cool. Front area. So... oh, look at newspaper. Let's read the stupid article. I mean, the lovely journalism.
I can't read what it says, but the cover features a dashing picture of Legrand. It shows an energetic young man photographed from beneath, against the sky. That's the look of a man who can catch a thief and murderer in a single day.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Legrand spoke to the press himself.
Nope.
He doesn't seem to like the attention, and he wouldn't falsely take credit for something he hadn't done.
I'm gonna go with Oliver.
Ancient Egyptian jewelry. I like that golden signet ring with a scarab made of jasper. In ancient Egypt, these beetles were regarded as symbols of fertility. Nowadays, we just call them dung beetles. I suppose the beetles don't really care.
Nah, not much. Banner!
Exclusive and unique. The eyes of the Sphinx exhibited together for the first time ever. Hopefully the visitors will be satisfied with a single eye. Otherwise, all this effort will be for nothing. Unfortunately, now it's just the eye of the Sphinx. But it's a bit too late to change the banner.
Meh. Alright, so we'll go to the treasure chamber.
A great moment. Professor Lucien, your key, please.
Yes. Well,
Come on, Professor.
but you have to realize that...
Thank you.
It's not in there.
Finally.
Where is it?
But,
Professor?
I wanted to give you this. Well, after the burglary in London, I thought the eye might not be safe on its way to Egypt. So I secretly took it when I was supposed to place it in the safe in London.
How dare you?
I felt that I should leave the jewel to someone I trusted completely. Myself.
But the jewel was safe. From London to here, no one had an opportunity to steal it.
I beg your pardon, my dear colleague. But if that were true, I wouldn't have had it.
Congratulations, Professor Lucien. You fooled everyone, it seems. The honor is yours.
I wonder if we missed anything because we didn't go in here for triggering everything. Oops.
Well, that's that. Shall I explain the security system to you, Inspector?
The French ambassador summoned me. I have to get in touch with him. The press is besieging the embassy, and I have to answer their questions.
But you absolutely must come tonight. The opening of the exhibition will be the highlight of the year, and you are my special guest.
I will see what I can do. Zellner, will you have a look at the security precautions? We'll see each other tonight.
Of course, but
Wait, Inspector. I'll join you.
Well, here we are. The inspector will answer the reporter's questions for the next few hours. And well,
I won't take up too much of your time. I'll take a look around and then go lie down so that I'm ready for tonight.
Woohoo! So, I hope we didn't miss too much. We're not going in here before. I don't know where Mr. Kreutzer is, but yeah.
What's that? A camera?
the latest model. It's called video surveillance.
I've heard about that. The images are recorded and can be viewed again later.
That's right. Images from all 3 cameras are recorded in the guard room.
Wow.
As I've said, we've spared no effort and no expense.
Well, this is like, was the 50s or something? 60s? So yeah, it is kind of cool for being then.
What's in the other display cases?
Teleport.
Other valuable originals. The eyes of the Sphinx would have been the highlights of our exhibition. Now that we only have one left, it doesn't really outshine the other valuables anymore. This room is full of world-class treasures.
Of course. Okay, so let's go examine the sarcophagus.
Many people picture a stone coffin when they hear the word sarcophagus, but this one is wooden. As usual, an ornamental representation of the deceased is painted on the outside in gold and other colors.
Yeah, I think a lot of the sarcophagus are actually wood. Or there might be different materials, but not all of them are stone, no. That would be pretty heavy. Okay, we can't really walk anywhere else here. Okay, cool.
How is the display case protected?
It's made of bulletproof glass that's several centimeters thick. You'd need heavy machinery to open it. But even the smallest disturbance of the display case will set off the alarm.
Cool.
Doesn't look half bad. A glass cutter wouldn't be much use. Is the display case anchored to the floor?
Why do you ask?
The Raven once stole a whole display case in St. Petersburg instead of just taking the jewels out of it.
Such an attempt would fail here. The display case is bolted to the floor and weighs several 100 kilograms.
Presuming because of this. Cool. We can't really talk to him. Okay, so we've done everything in here. To check everything very... Okay, I think so. Yeah, we can go outside. Alrighty. Coolio.
This here, the gate, how does it work?
If the alarm is set off, the metal gate descends. The same thing happens at the windows and the main entrance. The thief is trapped like a rat.
Like in movies. Cool. Realized we could read our
As
notebook.
are we.
Ooh.
Next, I'll show you our guard room, the heart of the whole security system. And after that, I'll have to excuse myself.
Alert the guards. Then call the French embassy. Legrand needs to come. We're being locked out.
Oh my gosh! Ah! Sorry, I did not expect that. Oh my gosh! Is it Kreutzer?
Here, have a seat and try to calm down.
Ooh. Okay. Wow, a lot of things happening here. Okay, cool. Let's read our notebook, because we haven't done that in a while. Let's, there, we read that. There we go. I stood up and told the captain right to his face that I want the assignment. He was too shocked to say no. Inspector Nicholas Legrand, here with us in Switzerland. Opportunity I simply cannot pass up. But just what does he want here? Legrand hunts Raven's heir. According to information obtained by this newspaper, Nicholas Legrand, 33, a French citizen, Interpol special investigator, has taken over the case of Raven's heir. Legrand is renowned among colleagues in police forces across Europe as an incisive investigator and a relentless bloodhound. He first demonstrated his talents 5 years ago when the young policeman surprised the world by catching the Raven, the most wanted criminal of Europe. A shout-out erupted while he attempted to apprehend a wily thief, resulting in the death of the burglar. Shootout. The Raven, it must be said, was greatly esteemed by the public for his clever, daring robberies. A copycat criminal has plagued us for several months now. Though the imitator leaves Raven feathers at the scenes of his crimes, his thefts exhibit none of the original Raven's refinements and gamesmanship. Last 3 robberies have resulted in a total of 5 casualties, one of them severely injured, though by the grace of God no deaths. Scotland Yard Interpol and Inspector Legrand could not be reached for comment. I caught Legrand injecting himself with something, some kind of stimulant, might explain his mood swings. Legrand seems convinced that Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven and the old Raven, and that something doesn't sit right with me. Legrand let himself be persuaded too easily. Trap, violinist. Lucien. The good professor took possession of the Eye Swings in London and hid it. He was afraid that the safe was not, in fact, safe. Brave but foolish. Someone had got wind of what he'd done. It would have been all too easy to get the jewel from him. But that certainly would explain why the professor was so nervous on the train and on the ship. And I can cross him off my list of suspects. He had already stolen the gem. In effect, if he really wanted for himself, he wouldn't have returned it. A compartment, Baroness von Trebitz. I don't know what the doctor's motive is, but I suspect it's tied up with their mutual past. Some mysteries. Lady Westmacott is Matt's grandmother. She has a son from whom she's estranged. He married a young American woman and they moved to the USA. She had a son. That explains why Lady Westmacott is so interested in Matt. Maybe she wants to make up for what happened to her son. Professor Lucien will accompany Miss Miller on the Nile cruise. One can never be certain in such matters, but I do believe the two of them have a chance. The blanket in the Baroness's cabin was soaked in fake blood. Why did Dr. Gebhardt notice? And where's the blanket now? It was Dr. Gebhardt. He murdered the Baroness, and he wanted to do me in as well. He drugged me. There's no trace of Dr. Gebhardt. Maybe he leapt into the sea, as he wrote in his suicide note, but maybe still alive. Shut on the train. 3 keys. 3 keys were useless. The safe was empty. Professor Lucien managed to pocket the outer swings at the bank and only pretended to place it in the safe. Old Raven, New Raven. Inspector Legrand harbors the suspicion that he shot the wrong man 5 years ago. If that's true, then the Raven may have returned after all. Legrand's evidence, the Raven feather, the handwriting in the letter, and the fact that the writer addressed him as Nico, something only the Old Raven did. But does that amount to persuasive evidence? Not for me. Everyone knows that the Raven used Raven feathers as a symbol. Handwriting can be faked, and anyone involved with the case back then could have known and revealed that the Raven teased Legrand by calling him Nico. The modus operandi just doesn't match. He has to see that. The Old Raven was always careful that no one was injured during his heists. The New Raven tried to blow us all to Kingdom Come. I think Legrand, bloodhound that he is barking up the wrong tree. Doctor's confession has given me a lot of food for thought. My gut feeling is that he's not responsible for everything, but I don't have any evidence to back that up. The note is also interesting for another reason. It proves that whoever really is behind it all was present at the alleged death of the Raven 5 years ago. Has the Old Raven returned from the grave like the newspapers claim? Editorial. Spectacular developments in the case of the Eye of the Sphinx. See front page as well as pages 3, 5, and 9. Just go to show. Once a criminal, always a criminal. Many of us, this newspaper included, minimized the gravity of some of the Raven's crimes over the course of his career, preferring to see them as clever games and daring feats. For some, he was a kind of hero, leading the police around by the nose for our amusement. And yet now we must all own up to having cheered for a murderer, a man who endangered lives with bombs, who has killed at least once. Criminals are and remain just that, criminals. We as society cannot permit ourselves to forget that fact ever again. Rupert Turner, Editor-in-Chief. Conti... Stowaway, a deal, and of course he didn't attack me, and indeed he didn't hurt to fly, blah blah, gunshot, murder of Trebitz, was Baroness drugged before she was murdered, she was quite unsteady, blah blah, Dr. Gebhardt shot Baroness von Trebitz. I still don't know his motive. If I had to guess, I'd say it has something to do with the war and with the Baroness's deceased family members. Unconsciousness. I fell unconscious. I was tranquilized in the champagne. Clues and evidence. I found a squished pillow. We all heard a gunshot. I took special note of blood on the Baroness's bed. Something's not right. It's so red. After so many hours exposed to air, it should be browner. It's not blood at all. I tested it, and it's not blood. It's some kind of red liquid. It looks like fresh blood, but not like 12-hour-old blood. Why didn't Dr. Gebhardt notice? He had to have noticed that something wasn't right. Alright, now we're at the museum. Yeah, I know, it's a lot of reading here. Whoops. The museum is closed to the public today, and only invited guests will be allowed to attend the gala tonight. I think that's when the Raven will strike, assuming I'm right, and in that he's still roaming free. The Sphinx is housed in a bulletproof display case. Everything is electronically alarmed. The museum security system is state-of-the-art, no question. The museum director. Director Mokhtar seems to believe that Legrand caught Dr. Gebhardt. Someone tipped off the newspapers and mixed up some of the key details. Dr. Mokhtar, he said something like that, no doubt felt he had better things to do than give a lowly flatfoot like myself a tour of his museum. I think he prefers the movers and shakers. Important, rich, and famous people, that's more his thing. I think Dr. Mokhtar is in a state of shock, and no wonder. His museum's treasure chamber was just blown to smithereens. After all, I'll give him a chance to collect himself. The Raven's escape route. There was an explosion. The security system locked down both the museum and the treasure chamber right away. I don't know what happened there, but I fear my foe is going to work with a chainsaw rather than a scalpel this time. We're trapped in the museum, and so is the Raven unless he has another way out, which I suspect he does. I have to follow him. Look around. I should use the time before the safe arrives to have a look around. The treasure chamber gate is locked. I need to find a way to open it. That was secrets, I think. Okay, cool. So here we are, and a lot of reading there, but now we're caught up in the diary, or the journal. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to continue next time. Wow, stuff just happening. I don't know if we missed anything before, but I don't think so. So now, yeah, someone's on the inside there, and we're on the outside. I'm thinking maybe that statue will help us. But we'll see next time. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'll stop talking now, and I'll see you later.